Conspiracy theories. You've heard of them, and there's a high chance that you believe in one of them. Some of them might be wacky and nonsensical, but it can be really fun to theorise about things that we have an interest in. It doesn't take a genius then to work out that I have an interest in gaming, and I love talking about it on this channel. So why not combine both these ideas and look at some of the biggest conspiracy theories that gaming has to offer? So put on your tinfoil hat and grab some popcorn, as we look at some of the most interesting conspiracy theories from some of your favourite games. The Lettinggo Theories. Let me ask you a question. When was the first time you saw this symbol? Some of you might have said 2014, when Destiny 1 was first announced and released. Some may point to 2017, with the release of the sequel. However, what if I told you that this very symbol dates back much further? It dates back to a video that Bungie themselves have stated that they have no involvement in. That video released all the way back in 2011, 3 years before Destiny would release, and a long time before we would know anything about the game. But there is more to the story than just that. The video in its entirety is around 1 minute long. We see many creepy things pop up on the screen during this, including creepy images that seem to show destruction, and even one that shares a resemblance to the character Rasputin from the Destiny franchise. Text appears on the screen, too fast for us to even read what it might say. If we pause the frame, however, right here, we see references to the light and darkness, as well as the Witch Queen Savathun. Whilst these have always been elements of the wider Destiny universe and lore, these are things that were not explained and delved into until 5 to 10 years after this creepy video surfaced. The final thing to note here is the very obvious Morse code we hear throughout this video. When translated, it supposedly reads, "Take up your arms, my children. Take up your arms and embrace your destiny." But what does this all mean? Why in 2011 did someone post a video with all this information? Who was it? And how did they know all this stuff? Well, let's try and answer some of these questions. The video was posted by the user Joyu7. There are no other videos on their channel, and people have only discovered one other trace of them on the internet, which is a Twitch channel, although there really isn't anything to know about it. It's up to complete speculation who is behind all of this. People pointed towards someone involved in the Destiny franchise. However, as I stated beforehand, Bungie have come out and denied any part in this mystery. But could it really be true that an unknown person knew all this information that strongly correlates to not only the release of Destiny in 2014, but also the unravelling of the story that's taken place over the last decade? Well, who this is and how they know all this information is still unknown, but whoever it is, they seem to be a step ahead of whatever Bungie releases. And perhaps this video contains hidden details about the end of the Light and Dark saga, which as of the recording of this video, we still haven't reached the end of yet. So the final question we have to answer is why then in 2011 did this video come out? Well, there's two main theories that I have. The first is quite boring to say the least, and that this is just simply a Bungie employee. This Bungie employee was leaving hints that would last for over 10 years. Even if this boring theory is the case, it's really cool to think that Bungie had this story planned out 10 years ago and 3 years before the game would even come out. I can't really think of another game that's had cryptic storytelling like this, which was planned out over such a long period of time. And if this were the case, I have to say it would make me appreciate the Destiny story and lore a lot more. But what if that isn't the case? Well, that brings me nicely onto my second theory, which is a little bit more fun and creepy. That being that this really is some random person who somehow predicted not only the story of a game that wouldn't release until 3 years later, but also the unravelling of the Destiny lore and the Light and Dark saga, which has been playing out over the last 10 years. Whatever the backstory of this video truly is, it will continue to be creepy, and it will continue to increase in relevance as we approach the end of the Light and Dark saga and we enter a new era of Destiny. This theory for me gets a strong 4.5 stars out of 5. The same universe theory. Everybody's two favourite RPG games from Bethesda, Fallout and Skyrim, share many similarities due to them running on the same engine and being made by the same publisher. And for many, that's where the similarities end between these two games, as they have wildly different settings. But what if there's more to this story? let's look at some of the evidence that supports this could be a reality. Let's start with the smaller details, the hints, Easter eggs and references between the games. Now there's a few items that overlap, with a sweet roll found in Skyrim, despite it being more akin to something seen in a Fallout game. Or what about this helmet that's found in Fallout 4, but it looks way more like something out of the Elder Scrolls franchise. Another Easter egg that people always point towards is this poster found in Fallout 4, which is a clear nod towards the iron helmet which is all over the lands of Skyrim. But these things can easily be brushed off as Easter eggs and references, and it wouldn't be uncommon for a gaming publisher to do this. So is there anything more concrete to help support this theory, I hear you asking? Well yes, in fact there is. In the lands of Skyrim and Elder Scrolls, the plant Nirnroot is found everywhere. But correct me if I'm wrong, I don't remember it being a plant on Earth. So explain how a so-called experimental plant is found in a biolab, with similar characteristics and looks to the common plant of Nirnroot, which is only supposedly found on the planet of Nirn. This theory goes a little bit deeper when you remember that in Fallout 4 there's aliens. So there's clearly a universe out there which Bethesda is willing to explore. So the big question is, are Nirn and Earth in the same universe? And more importantly, are they going on at the same time? Well, despite the developers denying this being a possibility, I think that these crossovers prove that one day there's always a chance that these games could be tied together. I'll give you my theory though, and a way that it would make sense for these games to be linked given the information we have. What if this alien species we find in Fallout 4 travelled from a distant land, and on their way through the universe, they made a stop at the planet of Nirn? As they continued their journey, they reached our solar system, only to crash into Earth. But they brought with them artifacts from outer space. Artifacts like the alien blaster we find, and more importantly to this theory, Nirnroot from Nirn. The Brotherhood of Steel would recover this and begin their experiments that we would find later on in the game. Call it far-fetched, but this is the beauty of theories. It doesn't have to make a whole lot of sense. But I do think that this theory could be pivoted into future games. What if we saw the development of this as more research begins in the new Fallout games, where the Brotherhood of Steel finds out more about Nirn and begins to put the pieces together that somewhere out there in space there is or was another civilization. And I'll make it clear now, I never want to see these games intrinsically tied to one another, where one's events has to make sense in the other, but I definitely want to see more hints that can add fuel to the ongoing theory that questions whether Elder Scrolls and Fallout are in the same universe. This is a fun theory, I'll give it 3 out of 5 stars. The Mount Chiliad Mystery. Mount Chiliad, the centrepiece of the state of San Andreas in GTA 5, and really an incredible sight for many players. And as many of you may already know, it's hiding secrets that are still being uncovered almost 11 years after the release of this game. It all begins at the summit of the mountain, where this strange painting appears. It seemingly showcases some symbols and cryptic messages, with an overseeing eye looking over the mountain. Players didn't take long to discover more paintings on the mountain itself, and by this point, probably didn't think there was much more, but little did they know how much deeper this mystery would truly go. Come back when your story is complete. This was the next big clue found by the community, and again, it didn't take long before players had 100% completed GTA 5. If you do go back to Mount Chiliad after 100% completion, it unlocks a new mission named The Last One, in which, in a callback to GTA San Andreas, you hunt Bigfoot. We'll come back to this later. 100% completion also unlocks something else tied to Chiliad, that being 3 UFOs you can find flying above key locations, including Mount Chiliad. This links back to that painting from the start, in which this weird eye, which looks incredibly similar to the UFO, hovers over the mountain. There was still much more to this mystery, however, and players even theorised about a jetpack being the final reward, as it was on the symbol initially showcased on Mount Chiliad. The mystery would lay dormant for a while, but in December 2017, the Doomsday Heist update would arrive in GTA 5 Online, and with it, the continuation of the Chiliad story. The heist finale saw us fight within a secret base hidden in Mount Chiliad, and even get to use a jetpack, which finally made sense of the jetpack we saw on the mural. Later GTA Online updates would continue to expand the theory and mystery surrounding Chiliad, with more and more references to aliens and UFOs, including an alien egg that can be found after completing 600, yes that's right, 600 resupply missions that were a part of the gun running update. And this is a striking resemblance to the alien egg on the mural, which finally gave us the last part of that painting. Players also found an alien as early as the prologue to the game, which is set in North Yankton 9 years before the main story, and is under a bridge off to the side. So who's behind all of this? Well, we have a jumble of symbols, aliens and UFOs to work with, so let's get into the theories behind the Mount Chiliad mystery. Let's begin with what this mystery has been leading up to thus far, that this is simply aliens who have found their way to Los Santos. Maybe all of the symbols we find were left by them, so that the smartest of humans could find them and find out the truth. I mean, with the nearby Fort Zancudo military base, they probably don't want to make themselves too known, so this trail will be a good way to show off they've made it to Earth. This would explain the alien egg, the many UFOs seen in story mode, and later in the online. And it would explain the alien imagery seen throughout the game, suggesting that some people like us have learnt the truth about the aliens. But it doesn't explain everything, and that is where the second theory comes into play. What if it was all by the government? Don't believe me? Well, look at this key detail I left out. The FIB symbol on the UFO. Who are the FIB? Well, they are the GTA equivalent of the FBI, so that is the link to the government. This would explain the human-like hints left behind. It would certainly explain why their logo is on the UFO. It would explain the abduction cutscenes that take place in GTA Online, where it seems like there's some experiments going on. And it would also explain the hidden base led by Avon Hertz, who could very well be working with the government to create these UFO-looking spacecrafts in order to conduct experiments, with the public just thinking it's aliens. With the evidence provided in the game, I definitely side with the second theory. But there are so many unanswered questions in both, and so many other links that I haven't even explained, as they don't tie in with the main mystery. Whatever the answer though, this is a fantastic mystery, and it gets a 5 out of 5 stars from me. But what would you give it? I really hope you enjoyed some of these gaming theories. Even if you don't believe in all of them, it's still fun to speculate. When the developers leave hints and references, they intend for players like me and you to theorise about what it means. Sometimes it is nothing. Sometimes it can lead to a greater story. And in rare occasions, it can come together as part of something much larger years down the line. Let me know what you think of this type of video in the comments below, as it's something I would love to make another part to. And while you're down there, let me know of some other gaming conspiracy theories I can look into. But I've been Ranger, and this has been 3 of the biggest gaming conspiracies.
Now it's a ghost town.
Our so-called leaders prostituted us to the West, destroyed our culture, our economies, our honor.